Hey everyone, it's Erica. I got some feedback from my last video that the birds chirping were a little bit too loud, so I'm trying some quieter ocean sounds in the background today. Hopefully this works. I'm going to take you through some of my seated stretches. So again, you can combine this with the standing video or you can do it independently. You can pick and choose and do a different one every day. Totally up to you guys. I hope you enjoy stretching with me. Today, I guess we're joined by Josephine. Say hi, Josephine. She doesn't want to say hi. So we're going to start sitting nice and tall, sits bones planted, feet are flexed. Flex your feet so hard that your heels come off the ground, and then point all the way through the feet so that you really have a fully extended foot and you can feel the stretch on top. So sometimes I like to reach down to support that foot and try to get to that maximum stretch and see if I can hold it. Hi, Lydia. Then we flex as hard as we can so our heels come off the ground. And then we point all the way through, articulating through all the little muscles. And then we're going to flex, reach down and grab for those feet. Hi, Lydia, stretch partner. And then on every exhale, we're just going to get a little bit closer to our legs. And the birds are back. And on the next exhale, take it all the way down. One of my favorite stretches here is leave the same side, hand and foot connected. Take your other side, thread it through, but keep it nice and close. Turn and look over the shoulder. So if you need a deeper stretch here, then you can send the hand further through and look underneath your arm. We'll bring it back through neutral. Do the same thing on your other side. And bring it back. From here, I just like to heel rock a little bit. It's different than whenever you're laying down, but it still feels good to let go of any tension that you have. Bringing the bottom of the feet together. So I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see my spine. So we want to start with a really flat spine, and then we exhale, contract, glue the belly button to the spine. Then we dive through, reaching the head away from the tail. Use the flat back to come up again. I usually do this for about 3 or 4 times. And then we'll reverse. We're going to flat back over. Exhale, contract, roll up sequentially, one vertebra at a time. So again, just make sure that you don't look at me in the video on your way down, because you'll come out of that straight alignment. So try to maintain that straight line on the way down. Exhale on the way up. And I usually do this for about 3 or 4 times. For those of you that take my contemporary class, you're also familiar with the second leg option, digging the heels in the ground, keeping the knees bent, keeping that rotation, and then same thing. We're just going to do 2 this time. I really like to send my elbows into my legs as I flat back through, and as I come down and flat back. Then we'll extend it out to straddle. So it doesn't really matter like how wide your straddle is, as long as you have nice straight knees, and when your feet are flexed, you want those knees and the big toe facing up to the ceiling. So from here, we can again work through the feet, flex them so hard that the heels come off the ground, and then articulate through the point. Reaching those arms wide, we're going to take a lateral stretch here. So if you don't like the placement of this arm in front, you can always modify it to something that feels better for you. On our next exhale, we're gonna glue the belly button to the spine and round over the leg. And then we'll do 3 really slow circles of the arm, going into our back space first, and then coming around the front. Follow that hand and arm with your head in focus to get a deeper stretch. After 3, you can walk it down that leg. On every exhale, just try to relax your body further over the leg. We're going to flex the feet so we can check and make sure our knees and toes are to the ceiling, and then walk out to the diagonal line. How many breaths I stay at every position just totally depends on how I'm feeling for the day and which parts are tight and which parts need more attention. And then we'll take it forward. You can take it all the way down if you want. And then walk it up, pointing through the feet. We're going to do the same thing other side. When we're here in this lateral reach, make sure you don't peel the other side up. Keep that sits bone grounded. On the next exhale, contract and round over the leg. And then we'll take 3 slow circles, following it with your head in focus. After 3, walk it down that side. And then we're going to flex the feet, walk out to the other diagonal. And take it center again. Locking it up. We're going to grab underneath those knees, pull them together. You can also shake out your legs here if you want. So you want your sits bones planted, your back straight, shoulders square to the front, and then you're going to drop your legs to one side, stack the top leg. You really want to make sure your abdominals are engaged here and that your shoulders are square. Sometimes you can even pull a little bit beyond square. And some people may not feel the stretch. Some of my clients report that they don't, but when you do, it feels really nice in here. And then we'll bring it back through neutral, drop same thing other side, stack the leg, check in with your abs. If you're ever doing any stretch in any yoga or stretch class and you don't feel like you can feel it, always check in and see if your abdominals are engaged, because that could be a culprit every time. So the next stretch that I'm going to do goes a little bit into the laying on your back series, but I usually do it at the end of the seated series. So we're just going to tuck one leg and we're going to walk it back as far as we need to feel the stretch on the top. So I'm going to show variations when I get down there for people that are hypermobile or have trouble accessing their quad like I do, but any number of these placements is appropriate. You don't ever want to feel pain or pressure on your knee. So if you're here and you can feel the stretch, that's perfect for you. Stay here. If you need a little bit more, Lydia, just me. My cats are fighting. You can go all the way down on your back. So for me, I like to target the middle, the inside, and the outside. So once I get down here, I sit right up on top of the leg that's bent and I prop up my other side. Again, checking in and making sure I'm nice and strong here. I stay here for a few breaths. Then I slide my body off Again, don't do this one if it puts pressure on your knee. So my foot's on the outside of my hip and I'm checking in again with my abdominals. Then I bend my top leg, interlock my fingers and reach them overhead. Again, checking in and making sure I'm strong in my core. And then the last one is the one that feels really good. You're gonna just start to roll up on your side. And if you're like me and this is a really tight area, you're probably going to go through there a couple of times. When you're ready, take a safe way to get up that's comfortable for your knee that's bent. And then swing that leg out and switch, tuck the other one behind. So again, same thing here. You just want to make sure that you can feel the quad stretch. You don't have to go all the way down to your back and do all the extra stuff. So as you're walking back, if you're already feeling a good stretch here, you're nice and engaged in the core, you can hang out. If you want to keep going, go all the way down to your back. First thing I do is prop right up on top of that leg. I put my arm under my other leg for a little bit of balance. Make sure that my core is engaged. I feel this really medial on my quad and into my hip flexor. Then I slide my body off the foot, again making sure that it's not hurting my knee, checking in with my abs. This I feel on the inside. Then I simply bend my free leg. You may or may not feel a change there. I feel it sort of wrapping around the front and the inside. Then I interlock my fingers overhead, and then I start to roll up on my side. Hi, Josephine. And when you're finished, you're gonna find a way to get up that's comfortable for your knees. We're gonna go back to where we started, seated with our legs out in front. You can shake them out if you want. I'm gonna reach down, grab my right leg, pick it up. I'm trying to keep my back straight. I'm trying to keep my legs straight. Hi. You can cross the midline of your body here if that feels good. What's up, Josephine? You want to stretch? And then you can bend that leg. This one's a little tricky. You're going to wrap around your ankle and pull the foot into your body. Take your free arm and send the knee away. So all the while trying to keep it up. You don't want this to be super low or you're hunched over. So really try to pull the ankle in, send the knee forward. Then we're gonna exaggerate the cross of that leg so the knee is sort of pointing forward. And you can add a little pressure again if it doesn't hurt any joints. So sending that knee down and you can pull that foot back. So a little bit more active stretching there. And then we'll switch, same thing other side. So you're gonna reach down, grab that left leg. You can pull it across the midline if you like. And here's the tricky one. We're gonna wrap our ankle, pull it close into our body, and then send the knee away. So you can tell just by looking at me that I'm very asymmetrical here. So everyone is gonna feel different. One side's gonna be more flexible than the other. No big deal. And then we take that and exaggerate, stacking on top option to push the knee down and pull the foot away. So a lot of the stuff in my seated series just sort of gets your lats warmed up, and it's going to help with your hip flexors, especially if you're like me and you hold a lot of tension there. If it's limiting your mobility, some of these stretches should help. The very last one is we're going to set our feet down, send our knees forward. Some people like to let their head hang here. I like to keep mine pretty upright. Again, this is one of those stretches where if you are not engaged in your core, you might not feel it at all. So just check in with your core. I like to pull my shoulder blades together. Then send your hands down, heels down, hips up. You can shake your head yes and no. Bend your knees, plie and roll up. And I like to sometimes shift into one hip and then the other on my roll up. Thanks so much for taking my second stretch class, and I hope to post a new one tomorrow. See you guys soon.